Hello everyone, I'm your host and president of IMU Medically Speaking, Wasfi Sheikh, and today's guests are my two friends, Arian and Namitha, both from Taylor's University. I'll allow them to talk a little bit more about themselves, starting with Arian.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Arian. I'm from Taylor's University and I'm the president of Taylor's University Medical Society. And currently I'm in my fourth year, towards the end of my fourth year of medical school, and yeah.
Okay, and I'm Namitha, also a year 4 student and in the same class as her, and I'm the vice president of the Taylor's University Medical Society. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here today.
All right, thank you guys for coming. So let's begin. Before we get into it, first I need to ask both of you, why would you guys choose medicine?
For me, I think everyone has like kind of different versions of the same thing of like why they're interested in medicine, but for me I think it's not that not like family pressure, but it's what I grew up seeing like a lot of my family members doing, and it's just something that really interested me. And I feel like for me I don't think I could survive like a desk job where I'm just like not communicating with others the whole day. So I think for me it's mostly just the fact that I get to interact with lots of new people every single day and then see new things, learn new things from the patients itself. So I think it's mostly that. And like just it interests me the pathology and the physiology of how the body works. I think it's just like overall a combination of everything. So
Yeah. It's good you have an interest because like a lot of people just get pressured when they see family members doing it.
yeah, that's why. It's like not really that, but I saw them doing it and I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do. It's just like something that interested me from a really young age that, okay, maybe this could be something I could be into.
You saw them doing it and like it excites you, right?
Yeah.
That's good. We need more doctors like that, actually. And knowing that medicine is like really tough and demanding, right? Like, I don't think I've had a break since I started medical school. Even now I'm on break and I'm just thinking about the next semester.
Yeah.
You know? So why would you what got you interested in, and then why would you continue with something like organizing student events, which is also a whole other, responsibility of its own?
Yeah, I think for me and Aryan, like we are really interested in just stepping outside of just medicine as like the academics side of it. I think the knowledge aspect of going to classes, everything is very important, obviously. But I think what makes you grow as a person is like if you really put yourself out there. And organizing events is not easy. It's always difficult. There's always problems, like last minute stuff that we have to figure out and everything. But I think after each event, it's very fulfilling to look back and be like, oh, we actually managed to produce something meaningful for the students. I think whenever all the hardships are over and we look back, we always like, oh, I'm glad we did that. So I think that's how we even, again, she's become the president. I think even though we're ending our medical school and things are getting more and more stressful, I think this is something that we still enjoy doing. I think if you are, I don't know, if you're thinking about like putting yourself out there, joining our medical society is a really good way to like, other than medical, like the knowledge itself.
Put yourself out there.
Yeah, because it really makes you a good communicator, good leader, and makes you like helps you work in teams and stuff. So I think it's a good overall experience so far.
Wait, so were you two both involved in this club before you were president and vice president?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So for me, it's my third year now, so third term. So I started as a member of the relations team, and then I was the head of department of the relations team, and now the president. And then she started. This is her second term, right?
Year, yeah.
So
firstly, I was just a member of the welfare, so that is basically organizing student events. And now I'm the vice president. So yeah.
Okay, you guys are like living proof of moving up a company.
because we were thinking, oh, we're gonna get into our fifth year, so maybe we just like end it now, like before going into like committing to like another year of being in this society. But then later on, we were like, you know what, like if you feel the pressure, like that's the great thing about working in a team where you can just give the work or share the workload with someone else, and then at the end, if everyone's as committed as you are, the outcome is the same, but then the workload gets divided, so it's like not like really messing up your schedule or like hampering your studies or anything like that. So I think that's why we decided to continue, because it's like might as well, because we enjoy doing it so much. I think that's another reason why, like, we would end one event and then be like, what's next? Like, let's just start planning another whole thing again. So I think that's mainly why, yeah.
So do you guys plan to continue even into your 5th year?
This term will end in our 5th year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why we were like, should we do it? And then especially we were both like, okay, we'll stand in for like president and vice president, not even just like remain in our own positions. We were like, okay, we'll stay the term and also just like make sure that it's harder for us this time.
Yeah.
But I think it's been good so far.
Yeah.
I think we want to be like, I guess like make sure the society is growing. And so I think our last president and vice president left a really good impression and did really like made a really good impression on us. So we were like, oh, we want to continue that and, you know, be the next leaders for the next term. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. So if someone were to look at your calendar now for this month, how surprised would they be?
Every weekend is already booked.
Every weekend's booked. Like, every weekend into the future few months is also booked. And it's like, just last week we sat down. We have our end of year. I'm not sure how it is for you guys, but we have like each semester, and then after 2 semesters, we have an end of year exam, which is based off of those past 2 semesters.
Yeah.
So we have that coming up in a month, and we're like, we sat down, we started making our schedule. Every week is booked. Every single day is booked, and then on top of that, we're like adding on new events. But then it's like, the reason why we make a schedule beforehand is that it helps us like organize everything. So we know which days we won't be free to study, and then the other days we can like make up for it. So I think like, yeah, we have like this month we have our flagship event. We're planning it, which is the annual sports, which is like an inter-batch annual sport, like a friendly competition between all the batches. So we have that planned, and then we just finished the methodology event with Methodology UK, and then I think we're also having like some workshops, like hands-on clinical workshops, and it's in the works. It's not confirmed yet. We're just like trying to find the time where we can fit it in, but yeah, it's like we have a lot of things planned. We just have to find the time to make sure everyone's available, because we want to cater it to all the batches so that no one's left out. Because in med school, I'm sure it's the same everywhere, where it's like, right now we're free, but some other batch might not be. But we don't want to create an event where we're leaving someone who might be interested out just because they have exams or something. So we try to find a balance where we can find, like, get everyone to be there, but sometimes it's really hard to do that. So sometimes you have to compromise, but then, yeah, we're just trying to look at what times are best for making these events happen.
Where do you find you plan? How sure are you, like, when you plan early, that it'll work out each weekend?
We're not sure.
We figure it out.
Sure.
We're like, okay.
Yeah.
Along the way, we find out, like, oh, okay, actually, we didn't manage to study today. Okay, so tomorrow we have to finish today's and tomorrow's work. So then I think that puts a pressure. We're like, okay, we have to actually lock in and finish what we said we'll do that day, or else it's just gonna get like piled on to the next day. Yeah. So I think
it helps us not procrastinate though. Because it's like, you know you have to finish it off, because otherwise it's just going to pile up, and we can't have that. So it's like, yeah, it keeps us in check, especially before exams.
And I think we keep each other accountable. Yeah, unfortunately, I think before we started studying together, things were like
bleak.
It was bad. Things were not looking good. But then now, like any major exam, we're always studying. Not even major exam, like even just every end of posting exam, we usually study before, and even for the end of year together, we study together. I feel like studying together is like a big part of why we're like, okay, we have to study, because like I can't, like I know Arian like is gonna be like, Arian has to study, so like I have to study. Like, we have to
just
study.
keeping each other accountable.
Yeah, even when you feel like lazy, it's like, no, I have to do this, because if I don't study, that means we're both not studying that day. So I think, yeah.
And I think as people pleasers, like both of us being people pleasers, we just can't let each other down like that. So we just like end up doing it.
That's a very healthy way to use your people pleasing aspects, you know.
Or like codependency, but like whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So long as it works out in the long term,
as
you
long as it works out.
know. So, do you guys think you would have been able to do this as president and vice president if it wasn't the both of you? Like if you had a different vice president or if you had a different president? Do you think it would have been...
You know,
I don't want to say that.
The thing is...
You don't have to mention names. I'm just saying if you two didn't have each other specifically for the roles you're in right now, do you think you would have had as good a time?
See, the thing is, we got elected separately for the role, but when the president first offered her the position of president, and then she was like, oh, do you want to be the vice president? To her, I was like, oh my god, I kind of low-key only want to be the vice president if you're the president. Because it's easier to, it's not even just like, oh, she's my friend, it's also easier to communicate because we already know each other, like, we already know what the other is thinking before they've already thought that thought. So I think it's also just very easy to work with somebody you know so well. It's not even like the other members in our committee wouldn't have been a good president or anything. It's just that because we know each other so well, it's easier for us to work through things, especially when we have exams and stuff as well coming up. Because our schedules are so intertwined, it's easy for us to plan things. Yeah. But this is the best case scenario. Like, we didn't expect to both get elected into these positions, but we were like, low-key, we were like hoping, fingers crossed, that we would be together. So I think somehow luck always works out for us.
That's great.
Touch wood. But like, yeah, I think I wouldn't mind working with anyone else. That's like something you have to get used to. Like, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. I'm not saying that anyone in our team, like, working with them would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, that's
it's
not
just
what
like,
I was asking.
yeah. But like, you know, like,
you have
your
to find
friend,
your rhythm.
you just feel more excited to do it. So yeah, because before she even joined TUMS, and then I was already a part of it. We were already planning like parties like at our house and stuff. So it's like we kind of already knew this is something like we enjoyed doing. So it's like there's like two different types. Like, you're part of the committee, and then you're doing something because you have to, and then it's like you do it because you enjoy it and you want to do it. So I feel like for us it just comes naturally to want to plan more things. So yeah, I think that makes it easier for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you had basically even past experience working together, planning the parties, basically.
Just like not anything official, just like at our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been hard for me to work with someone I know very well. Because it's easier to tell someone I don't know, shut up, do what I tell you, than someone I'm close to, especially like a friend. Like, if I had, like, for example, someone I was close with as you, like one of my best friends, this guy doesn't listen to a word I say. There's no way I could have him as, like, my vice president of anything. Anything I tell him, the first thing he'll ask me is, how stupid are you when you come up with your ideas? You know, every single time. So I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm glad it's working out for you.
Yeah, they always say don't mix professional and personal relationships.
Yeah.
But
I think because we also live together, we just already know that, okay, like,
you have a dynamic set.
Yeah, and it works. So it's like easy for us to communicate, and both of us kind of fall into the same, I don't know, pattern of how we work. So it's like, oh, if we need to get something done, we just, like, we don't like leaving it off and like I'll do it later. We just like get it done, so then later we have like free time to do other things. So I think we both function like that, so we never like butted heads like that because of it.
Okay, that's great. So why should students care about going to these seminars and workshops and events that you guys plan?
Okay, so I think the workshops we try to focus on like very hands-on clinical skills that you do get exposure in your medical school life, but then in these workshops we have like a mentor, a doctor that takes you step by step and gives you good exposure to these procedures that you've already learned, but then here like you're going in depth, and it's some procedures we don't even see in the, like, we don't really go through it in our syllabus. So this is a good way to like, oh, you go to this workshop. We had an emergency medicine workshop last year, and it was a really fun workshop, and we did the chest tube insertion on a lamb model. And I think these kinds of experiences we don't really get in our medical school. We did on a mannequin. So the kind of experience you get during these workshops is very valuable. And I think some people also go to these workshops and then might realize that they really enjoyed this certain specialty. You know, you go to an emergency medicine workshop and you're like, well, I actually really like this. I might actually consider this in the future. Or also you might go and you might be like, okay, this is not for me, and that's still valuable. I feel like finding out what's not the right fit for you is also just as valuable. So I think coming to our workshops is like a good way to put yourself out there, find out, like, learn something new that you wouldn't otherwise learn in textbooks, or learning from the textbook is not enough sometimes, you know. So I think, yeah, that's it for the workshops that we do. And yeah, I think the other events we do are more like seminars, talks, I think we had a skin talk with one of our doctors,
Yeah.
dermatology related. But I think the students enjoy the workshops more, so we are trying to do more of those this year. So yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about the kind of workshops that you guys organize, like specifically your term, the ones you guys have focused more on that stood out also to all the people attending?
Okay, so last term we did, because we just started our term, it's been a month. So so far we've done a chest X-ray workshop, which was catered more towards preclinical students. So they got to get there, and then one of our clinical lecturers, she was there, and she taught them how to interpret a chest X-ray and then all the different findings, and then she incorporated games into it to engage the students more. So it's like, whatever event we do, we try to make it as engaging as possible, so it doesn't just feel like they're coming and listening to another lecture or like just a class. So those are the, and then we also have the skin talk, like she mentioned, which was more dermatology focused. And then we also had NeuroConnect, which is one of our neurologist lecturers. She came and gave a talk about how to do the full examination, like neuro examination, and how to like narrow things down from the findings. So it's like more focusing on the clinical stuff and then how to interpret them and then make it easier for people. So we try to like find topics that people might find difficult to grasp. So we just take those topics and try to find ways to make it simpler. We also have like ECG workshops, X-ray workshops, so ultrasound workshops as well. So last term what we did was the one she mentioned about the what was it?
Emergency
Lamb
medicine?
thorax?
Yeah,
So we did thoracentesis on lamb thorax and then ultrasound guided central line insertion. So those were the more hands-on things that we organized. So it's like we do a combination of both talks, seminars, and then more of these hands-on experiences as well. And I feel like from feedback that we've gotten, people like the hands-on ones more. So this time we're trying to focus more on that. So we have a few things planned. I'm not sure. We're talking to collaborators and seeing what's possible, because sometimes you have an idea and then you don't really know how to make it work, because sometimes I'll just tell her, oh, I want to do this. And then she's like, how? I'm like, I don't know, but maybe we can figure something out. That's the thing. It's like, for these hands-on workshops, you kind of have to be creative to find a way to mimic the real feel, the layers of the tissue. If we're trying,
I've never heard of using a lamb. That's very creative.
Yeah, we did.
It was
So,
really
like,
cool. We used like a scalpel to make an incision on the lamb, like look at the ribs and like find the exact position
Yeah.
on where to insert it. I think the students really found that enjoyable, and then
because it's very similar to the feel of it is very
Mhm.
more similar to how it would be to a human than a mannequin, because the mannequin is like so
Rubbery.
rubbery,
Yeah.
and then the the dexterity, the tactile, everything is like very different on a mannequin. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're doing this, but is it really like as we're doing it on a mannequin, we know this is not nowhere near to how it's going to be in a
even
real
making
patient,
mistakes,
right?
you don't feel as great.
Exactly.
But like when you're
But
doing it on
then-
flesh, knowing that this could
Exactly.
potentially be a
Yeah.
person.
You have all the layers. Like, it's like a lot more like realistic. So I think that puts things into perspective as well. Like, this could be person in front of you. Yeah. So yeah, those are more kind of the events. And then other than that, we have, like I mentioned before, like the sports days. So those are more for student welfare, because it is, no matter how you study or how you cope with it, it is a very strenuous course. So we just want to create a space where everyone feels supported, and we're also going to create like a buddy system, so the seniors can help out or guide the juniors that come in on anything basically that they need, like whether it be academically or just in general about life. So yeah, we're trying to like create a space where people feel comfortable enough, even in these workshops. Like, people might be scared to make mistakes in class, but then in the workshop, it's like it takes away that stress or the pressure of making a mistake, because you're there to learn, and it's your lecture. Sometimes we don't even bring our own lectures; it's external,
Like a guest lecture.
guest lecturers. So it's like you kind of get into the mindset of, oh, I'm never going to see them again. If I make the mistake, it's fine.
Yeah, he won't remember. Whereas
They
your
won't
class
remember.
lecturer...
So you're more comfortable making a mistake, and then you end up learning more from it because you remember what mistake you made, and then you retain more from it, rather than, oh, I'm not even going to speak up or do something because of the fear of making a mistake and then having my lecturer think something of me. So I think it makes people more comfortable as well, because it takes away the pressure of having to be perfect. So yeah, I think that's the whole point of these workshops, is to like she mentioned, creating opportunities that you don't get in med school, and then also to make them feel more comfortable with doing certain procedures or certain learning techniques that can making them more comfortable doing them, so later on they don't have that wall or that fear anymore. Yeah.
So out of all these types of workshops, seminars, can you call them tutorials as well?
Yeah.
Tutorials or talks. So to me, they all seem important, right? But as a med student, obviously, we don't have time to attend each and every one of them, especially depending, for example, you guys host these, so I guess you have you have to attend them by default, right?
Yeah.
If another student is doing other extracurriculars, right, but you were to encourage them to attend at least one, which one of all of these would be the most beneficial to them, do you think? If they told you, listen, guys, I can only come to one of these this year, which specific type, would it be a talk, a workshop, a seminar, which one would you encourage them to go for the most?
Do you want to take this? Or
I think we've been saying, I think personally the workshop might be the most interesting, and I think it depends on what the student wants. So if the student is oh, I want to do really well in my exam, and that is where my focus is, and that's what I want to gain from an event from TUMS, then maybe you should go for a specific neuro workshop. Not workshop. It was kind of a interactive lecture, kind of
it was more like a seminar.
Format. So ECG, chest X-ray, this neural workshop. Those things would be great because you're learning about the examination technique, learning about the OSCE stations, chest X-ray reading, ECG. That's really good for exam prep. But if you are kind of the person that's oh, I want to know how it's going to be in the future, doing a procedure, what would that be like? A lot of students are really interested in the workshop in that sense, but they might not directly use that technique in the exam. It might not come up as an OSCE. It might not come up in any of these exams, but some students find the value in that, and some students find more of the value in an ECG or chest X-ray, because they can directly use that in their semester exam or the end of year exam. So I think it depends on person to person, but I think what would be the most interesting for a student to join would definitely be one of our workshops, hands-on workshop.
But then in the terms of beneficial, like you said, it all depends on student to student. Like she said, what your priority is. Even if you just completely ditch the other two things, the methodology event that we had, that was a masterclass on just networking and leadership. Not much to do with, I guess he catered it towards medical students, but anyone could join that and gain something from it. So if in terms of beneficial, some people's, especially maybe international students, some people might gain the most from those events where there's external lecturers and guests coming in and speakers from outside, and you get to directly speak to them, because as medical students, as soon as we're done with our degree, if you haven't networked and you're planning on applying outside or even staying here, it's you need connections. And I feel maybe some people might not value that as much, or think it's not as important, or see the benefits of it, but then there is importance in it. And then if that is because the workshops, you learn it in CSS, our clinical skills sessions, the how to read chest X-rays, those things, you'll learn at least some of it, or you can find ways to do it by yourself as well. Obviously we're providing you with the opportunity, but then you can find a way to do it. But then if you want to network, you can't just I guess if you don't have these events, you can't really just go up to someone and be I'm here to network with you, you know? So it's that can also be very beneficial if you can find the value in it. So those things are also on our radar of like trying to create
Yeah.
opportunities.
Actually, I think a lot of med students really undervalue the importance of networking, because I know a lot of people who studied medicine and they're stuck looking for even like part-time jobs, or being waiters or drivers, because they can't get anywhere into a hospital, and getting into a hospital, especially in this day and age, is more politics than anything. So
Yeah,
if you can't work your way around like speaking to people nicely, like it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah.
So thank you for emphasizing the importance of such events. Now, besides learning medicine and I guess the networking, right? What else do students gain from these? Like, I guess you mentioned networking. What else would you say a student would really, really benefit from attending these workshops or seminars?
I think confidence. Like the more you attend, the more comfortable you get doing certain procedures. And then as well as, like I said, our lecturers themselves take these, are part of these events. So seeing them outside of like the curriculum or like outside of classes and interacting with them outside of it also helps you kind of feel more relaxed around them. And then when you go back to class and see them, it's like, okay, like these are not scary people, because I feel like, I don't know, this might just be my opinion, but I think like seeing your lecturers as humans as well, instead of like authority figures that you can't like speak in front of or like make mistakes in front of, actually holds you back. So I think like seeing them in a different light outside the classroom in these events can also help you like get more comfortable with them, and then helps you learn better in the future. And then I think also when you're in class, you're just with your batch of people that you're always with. But when you come to these events, you get to meet people from different batches, and then you get to like talk to them, get guidance from them. And sometimes when we have events with other universities, there's people from there as well. So it's like you're kind of like broadening your like horizons or like getting to know more people. So that might be beneficial for a lot of people as well. Like you get to know more people and then see how they're doing it, like see the differences in how they deal with medical school. And you might find like if you're struggling with something and someone else found a way to cope with it, that might end up helping you. So like to get the guidance from seniors or even juniors of like, oh, like when I was back in year 1, I was struggling with something, but then you found a way to like cope with it better, so like maybe I can implement that. So I think like all those things also play into it.
So, are there any opportunities that students miss by not attending these?
I think
I wouldn't say miss, but it's always an addition to your already existing syllabus that you're already doing, because none of this is compulsory. Like a few years back, this society didn't exist, and people were still existing, people were still graduating. So I feel like it's part of the university experience to like put yourself out there, go out there and have fun, because I feel like these workshops are not meant to be like, okay, you are open your textbook, now start writing down notes. It's kind of like an enjoyable way to learn things in medical school. And like she said, it's not only just about the skills that you're learning, it's also the soft skills, like, you know, talking to different people, your seniors, juniors, different people from university. So I think these things are additions. Some people may not find value in it at all. They're like, I'm okay if I have like this one friend that I have, that's enough for me to get to this entire, you know, like medical school. I don't need to meet new people, I don't need to talk to anybody. Like I'm fine. Because even in class we see that some people are not that comfortable talking to the doctors or other people as well. Like they enjoy being within their, like, you know, comfortable crowd. Which is fine, but I think once you go out there and become a doctor in the future, you have to get really comfortable talking to seniors, other people that don't share the same ideas as you, people from different hospitals, different doctors. Like, I think this kind of puts you in a position where you're kind of developing those skills already. Like, oh, okay, how do I talk to a person? Like when we, like, for example, get a sponsor for an event, the way you have to talk to them is like, you have to push them in the right direction, be like, oh no, please sponsor our event. Like, talking to people of higher authority, talking to the head of School of Medicine. Like, we regularly email our head of School of Medicine, and some people that have never been part of such like events or been part of our society itself have never properly like know, like, how do I talk to somebody that's like, oh, that authority figure? They're scared. They don't even, they're scared to even talk to, like, these doctors in person. So I feel like this kind of puts us in a position where we get really comfortable with a lot of our doctors. Our doctors are like our best friends, you know. I think we will come out of in the best way possible. I think they also see us as like, oh, like, they'll remember us, and we also remember them very fondly as well. And I think at the end of medical school, we want to look back and be like, okay, like, we made such good memories with all these doctors, and if in the future we need help from them, I know for sure they will be there for us, because we've made such a good connection. And I think these workshops are a good way to, like, expose yourself and make good connections with all our faculty members as well.
Yeah. Plus, I guess, like, when a lecturer is teaching you in the classroom, there's like a different switch, because they know they kind of have to justify the grades you get and everything later on at, like, some kind of evaluation. Whereas during these seminars or events and workshops, they're more free to just be, like, relaxed as well, because there's no pressure on either side. Everyone is just there to kind of learn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that means basically it's not that you would say they're missing out on anything, but there are a lot of added benefits they could have otherwise had they attended, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, if I'm like a first-year student that just joined medicine, how do I find events like these? Where would I go? Who would I speak to? And is it even beneficial for me as a preclinical student, someone who just started to attend these workshops or seminars?
I think if you're first year, it's for seminars, it depends if you want to, like, start early on. But then for workshops, we do, like, have different events catered towards preclinical students and clinical students, and so they can obviously join the preclinicals ones, but even if they are in preclinicals and we're having a clinicals event, it's not like they can't. It's like you can always, just out of interest, even if you don't need this skill right away, you can always, like, go attend and learn something. Even if you forget later on, at least you know you did it. And then for finding out how to get to know about these events, I think every university, like every medical society, has their own, like, either AMSA chapters or their actual medical societies, and then they're constantly posting, like, I feel like every month at least 2-3 universities will be having, like, these events constantly. So if you really want to, I think you can just go to their the Instagram, Facebook pages, all those portals to get to know who's doing what. And then once you join an event, try to make friends there, get to know the organizers, and then keep their contact and, like, keep in touch with them. So, like, okay, when you have a new event, like, I'm really interested to come, so, like, could you, like, let me know, okay, this is something happening, and then maybe once they let you know, you can let your friends know. So it's like you're kind of building, like, a community who are, like, interested in these things. So that, and then you can also go ask your lecturers, because a lot of the times your lecturer might be an external lecturer, guest speaker at some other university's event. So maybe you could ask them, like, oh, are there any events happening here, like, so yeah, you could, like, get to know about those events from them as well. So I think, yeah, it's mainly, like, word of mouth as well. So, like, you'll hear someone say, oh, there's this event happening, and then you just go. If you're interested, you can just be like, yeah, which one is it? Like, can I get to know more about it? And then more of, like, yeah, so word of mouth, keeping up by yourself. If you, like, you kind of have to do that. Like, you can't expect someone else to constantly let you know. So you kind of have to be on the hunt for it as well. Join your university's societies. Like, I'm sure for us, we have, like, different WhatsApp groups with all our students. So we put any event that we have there. And then also the universities are always constantly reaching out to us, to, like, other universities are reaching out to us to promote their events. So we'll send their event to that group as well. And I'm sure every university kind of follows the same system. So I think, yeah, those are the best ways, like, to keep up with the Instagram. I think that's where most societies are, like, the most active. So maybe that, and then if you really want, you can go ask your lecturers as well, and then, like, just ask your friends around, seniors, like, what are the events you guys went to that you found value in, and then maybe you can, like, narrow it down from there, which ones you want to go to.
Okay. And when I go to these events, how can I make the most out of it? Like, how do I make sure I got literally everything I could have gotten out of it and more?
I think don't be scared. Like, don't be shy. Like, I know it's uncomfortable. Maybe the first time you're gonna be like shy to like speak up. It's maybe you're going to a different university and you're like, you don't know anyone there. You're the only one from your university, and you might be shy or like scared to speak up, ask questions. But that's the way to learn. I feel like you have to put yourself out there and be like, maybe if they ask for a volunteer yourself. And then they know you don't know. That's the funniest part. Like, they know you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So they don't expect you to like know how to like stitch up a like body cavity in like 5 minutes. So they're gonna help you through it, but you get to learn. You put yourself in that uncomfortable position, and then you get comfortable doing it. Like, the more events you go to, the more comfortable you get as well. So I feel like once you're in an event, try to, if you're alone or if you're going with friends, try to like interact with others, see how they're doing it, make a group, and then I think put yourself out there, engage with the organizers, engage with the speaker or whoever is demonstrating the techniques, procedures, and like be up in the front, try to like see what they're doing, try to ask questions. Even if it sounds stupid to you, it might be something everyone else is thinking as well. So I think, yeah, mostly would be interacting, engaging. So, yeah.
Actually, there's one thing I forgot to ask before, but for these events, can they go on a student's portfolio or CV?
Yeah.
They can?
Yeah. Like, if you're actually learning something, like, it can go into your skills section. And if you're like, so, okay, we have like health checks. So you can like volunteer for these health checks. So those can definitely go in your CV, because we go into communities and then we get volunteers from our medical school, and then we get them to do health checks, like measure BP, take blood, all those things. So that's something you can do and put in your CV. And then as well as if you're helping organize these events, you can definitely put it in. And if you're attending events where you're actually learning things, like the workshops and stuff, I think you can put it in.
Because we usually give certificates for...
We have certificates that we give, and you're learning skills as well, so you can put that in there as well. Like, these are the skills I acquired.
Okay. So there's even a professional benefit for students joining these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for tailors, we also have like the Shine portfolio. So the more events you join and then help organize, be a part of, like actively volunteer in, you get those Shine points, and then when you graduate, you get the certificate for that as well. So that's showing that you were a, like, active member or like active participant in these events. So
I never collected my Shine certificate. Okay, so now knowing all the at least as far as I've learned now from talking to you guys, this takes a lot of work. Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so planning your weekend in advance. I barely know what I'm going to do tomorrow, and it's already the weekend. So I need to know, okay, I guess you told us a bit about how you guys can handle it, working together, but how do you balance studying and organizing events? Like, if you were to get into like a, give us maybe a look inside your scheduling, how does it go?
I think if you look at our calendar, it is a bit scary because everything is booked out. But I think it's when you really look at it, things are organized. We know when we're studying, we know when we're like doing our society's work. And I think it's all about balance, to know when to prioritize what. I think for us, we don't have a strict schedule of like this exactly, like when we're going to study from this time to this time, and then we'll do our society's work on this day from this hour to this hour. It's kind of like, okay, it's a deadline tomorrow. Okay, today we'll work on that and finish it off before the deadline. If the exam is tomorrow, we're going to be studying for the exam. The society's work will be, it'll be there. So I think it's knowing when to prioritize what. That's how we get most of the things done, kind of on a deadline basis. So we don't end up procrastinating because we know we have to meet that deadline. So for exams, we know exactly, like, okay, time to prioritize our exams because medical school, like, that is the first priority. And then when it comes to society's work, we do the same thing. So even if it means, like, okay, we might have to, like, not go out tonight and we have to work on this, we like, okay, it's fine. We signed up for this. It's for us to do it. I think it's also like if you enjoy doing it. So some of the paperwork behind the society's things are not the most fun thing to do, but it's like, okay, at the end it'll be fruitful. So it's okay if we have to do this one proposal, we have to find we have to get the approval, and we have to figure out all this paperwork that's not very fun to do. Knowing that it's going to come to fruition and it's going to be fun and very rewarding for all the students that attended, I think that makes it worth it. And yeah, I think we somehow have managed to balance it, so I guess
I don't know if we have like a proper system. It's just like happened to like kind of fall into place.
Because I don't think we're type A people at
definitely
all.
not.
At all.
Our schedule that we make is more of a suggestion, and it's like, and then we just happen to kind of follow it. But then it's not like, oh, if we don't, like, it's the end of the world. We kind of like figure out a way to like, okay, move things around, make space for everything. And I think because we don't let things pile, so okay, we have some society work, we'll just get it done. So it actually ends up taking like maybe not even half the day. So the rest of the day you're free. So yeah, like as we were on the way here, we were like doing society work on the way.
Yeah.
Like we were making like for the annual sport, we were like making the proposals and everything. So it's like, and then we're also doing like our research, which is on the academic side, not society related. So we're like doing both things, but then it's like you can kind of find the time. For us, I think we can get things done on the go, so it helps. It's like I don't really have to like sit down block out everything else to like do the work. So it's like, I think like, okay, as we're on the way, like in that 30 minutes I just got it done. I feel like we just take this one day an example. In the car we were figuring out we were trying to do our research, we were trying to like make the some edits that our professor gave us. So the entire ride we're doing that. Even as we're sitting here, I was doing that before you guys started recording. We're doing the podcast. After this, we're going out, having a good time. So I feel like it's just about how you manage it, and then after that we should probably study for our exam. We've been putting that off this week because this week was off for us. So we were like, okay, it's okay. We won't like not that we won't do anything. It's just we won't study. We'll do the society's work. Basically, this entire week we've been like focusing on the society. But yeah, I think when you take out one day in our life, it's like every hour we're doing something. So altogether, it might look very stressful to somebody else. Like, oh my God, why would you do this to yourself? But I think it's all about perspective. And I think if you enjoy doing it and you see the value in it, I think it's not that bad.
Okay, so since you guys enjoy doing it, would you say it's true when they say if you do something you love, you don't really work? Or would you say that's...
You're still working, but but it's like, it doesn't feel as bad. You're not obligated. Like, you don't feel like, oh, like, why? Like, I don't think... Maybe we get stressed sometimes. Maybe that's the max. I haven't ever regretted like joining the society or signing up for an event. So yeah,
sometimes
I think
things get
maybe that is true. That might
Because last year I think we had like our MIVG, which was the Medical Intervarsity Games, and it was like 2 weeks before our end of year exam that time, and the whole committee had to be involved. We all had to be like on the like at the places, at the venues, organizing entire sports like for like 2,000 people. And that was just the days of the event, and then prior to that there was so much work before that as well, and that was right before our exam as well. So it was like very overwhelming, but I still enjoyed it. Like, I still look back and I'm like, I'm so glad we managed to pull off something so big. That's not a small, like, it wasn't a small event, like a sport event that we usually do just within Taylor's. It was like all of medical, even IMU, all of you guys were there. So I was part of, like, I was organizing netball, and it was just like, it was very stressful. It was very stressful. But I feel like it's also how we managed to like get through that, like real time solving the problems, figuring out solutions. I feel like it definitely like made me realize like okay, I can do this. And I wasn't even like, we're not even the type of people that get mad at other people. So it's very like being composed, figuring out things in a very respectful way, because there was a lot of emotions on the court, you know. There was people crying, leaving, fighting, screaming. Coaches were screaming at people. So I feel like there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but I think we in a way are also very like, we kind of are mentally very okay, like we know how to go about things.
That's basically a simulation for emergency medicine right there.
Honestly?
Yeah, no, actually
I think it teaches you how to work in teams, like really well. Like, you have to compromise some things. When you work in a team, I don't think everything's ever gonna go your way. You have to compromise on some things, and then some things you'll get your way, and then others have to learn how to deal with it. So it's like finding the balance of how to not get like riled up over small things. That, yeah, I think you learn those skills as well. So yeah, I think that's why when we make our schedules, it's like not so bad.
Okay. And have your grades ever suffered because of any of this event planning?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not even in a condescending way. I think somehow we've always managed to prioritize when it comes to exams, and we always study. Like, it's not like we are like, oh, this society is our like only thing that we'll ever focus on or anything. It's like when it's time for exams, we study. So it's not. It doesn't. I don't think our grades suffer because of it. And then when it's time to do society's work, we do the same thing. We prioritize that, so the society is also not like, oh, not
like the grades have stayed pretty consistent before we joined and then after as well. So I think a big part of it is because it's such a big team. When it comes to like our exams and stuff, we rotate the responsibilities. So it's like you can always ask someone else to take on some of the workload, so you're not like stressed like, oh, I have exams and stuff, but I have to do this society work, which we always like whenever we're recruiting as well. That is something they ask, like, oh, what if I can't manage both? And it's like we always like reassure them, it's you're not gonna have to do it. We always put our and their like studies first, because if you can't be in a medical society if you're not in medical school is what I say. So it's like, yeah, prioritize that first, and then we'll figure out the society stuff. That is secondary. So I think, I don't think anyone would say that their grades have suffered. Like, that's part of our team either. So yeah.
Okay. So how do you guys avoid burning out?
I don't know. I think it might just be because we enjoy it. Like, a lot of people have done it for a year and then left because they're like, I can't. So I think maybe it's just for some people and then it's just not for others. But yeah, and
I don't think we let med school completely like consume us.
Yeah.
So medical school is there, and it's definitely a lot of work, and it's definitely like it is definitely time consuming. But I think we still find time for our friends. We still find time for our social life.
You have to have a life outside of medical school, because otherwise, if that's all you can think about, it's so stressful. I don't think I could do that. Then I would like get burnt out, for sure. Yeah.
So I think we always find time for other things as well. Like whenever we can, we do like, okay, let's hang out, let's have lunch, let's have dinner, go out with your friends. So I think that is like some way of like avoiding burnout, because you're still keeping in touch with other people. You still have a social life outside of medical school, because medical school, once you really get into it, like you can just like go down that spiral and just never come out, because there's always something new to learn, there's always something more to do. You can always be doing something with your time in medical school. And I feel like all around in social media, everyone is always doing so much that you always feel like you are behind, you know, in some way. But I think it's just to take it day by day, take it step by step, realize that you might not be doing everything that you should be doing. Like maybe it's not even practical for everyone. But I think your mental health always comes first. So find time for, you know, to socialize, hang out with your friends. I think that's just as important as, you know, putting yourself completely in medical school and like drowning in the work.
Okay, that's also like, I believe you're right. Like a lot of students come into medicine and they think like, okay, yeah, once I'm in medicine, like that's it. You know, I have no time. Yeah. So, would you encourage people like that to actually join different societies and committees and like just work in doing other extracurriculars besides just focusing on medicine?
Yeah, for sure. Because I also think every other course you rotate your group of people, so you get to meet like what I'm trying to say is your cohort or like the people in your semester rotate every time you enter a new module. But then for medicine, you're like stuck in this family of like core group of like 20-30 people. So joining these societies gives you the opportunity to meet new people as well, like outside like I'm not just talking about medical society. It's like any other society that you join, you get to like venture out of just
the people
medicine,
in your batch or just the people in your field rather.
Yeah. So like I think it's kind of also important to like find people that understand that you're not going to be as free as them all the time. So like to find that balance of having someone understand without you constantly explaining why you're not always free or always available for them. And yeah, so I feel like once you find the right people,
Mm.
I think it makes life a lot easier as well. Yeah.
So basically, don't make friends with business school students, guys.
As long as they understand.
Understanding.
We're not bad friends. We're just med students.
Honestly, that should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
we're
like
not bad friends,
we're
just a med
not.
student.
We're really not bad.
Yeah, you guys came up with it on the show, so that's the show's property, guys. Okay, so while doing any of these events and while being in medical school, doing all of this at once, have you guys ever felt any kind of imposter syndrome trying to juggle all this at once?
Have you?
I think maybe early on in medical school.
Yeah.
Because before you come into medical school, maybe you're like, you're one of the people that are like doing really well in your class and stuff, and like we enter medical school and everybody is the top of the class in that class, and then
And
all
now
of a
you're just
sudden
average.
yeah, you're just an average student in that class. And then I think when it's like a lot of mental like thing, like, okay, like, no, I'm here, I'm supposed to, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And I'm not like, oh, I'm not stupid, because I feel like everybody's really smart. Obviously, we're all in medical school, so it's like, in the beginning, I think there was a little bit of imposter syndrome, like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be here, maybe I'm not meant to be a doctor, I'm not cut out for this life, I'm not smart enough to do this kind of thing. But I think as we go on, you realize that medical school, like, what you step into, like, the knowledge you have is like so little, like, you have so much more to learn. All the learning begins after you enter medical school. So I think at this level, I feel like I don't think we face that anymore, because I think we are all, everyone in our class is like, on the same level, and we're all like moving towards the same goal of learning. Yeah, like we're all learning continuously every day. Nobody's like better than anybody. It's like, oh, maybe you have this one extra knowledge, but then another person maybe knows something else in a different, area. So I don't think there's like that imposter syndrome anymore.
And I think when we first started, for me at least, I was still figuring out how I study, like what works for me. So like finding the balance of like trying to learn or like figure out how to learn, and all this new content all of a sudden. So like finding the balance between that. During that time, maybe I felt a little bit of like imposter syndrome of like, oh, maybe everyone else has found their way of studying and they're figuring it out, but maybe it's hard for me. But I think like now, like she said, it's been like 4 years, we already know what works for us, what doesn't work for us. We study very unconventionally. We make what is it, like we use like the AI ones where they help the AI coaches to help you study, and then we'll like narrow down topics to like very simple understanding concepts. So it gets easy to understand the topic, and then once we understand the topic, I feel like we can answer all the questions. Like instead of memorizing a list of diseases and like the symptoms, management, investigations, I think we try to understand like, okay, why is it happening, this and that, and then once you understand it, I feel like we don't forget it. So I think finally we found like the rhythm of how long it takes us to study, how we like to study, and then luckily we both study in the same way. We just like talk to each other, and then after we're done talking, like it literally looks like this when we're studying. We're just like, okay, yeah, like this disease, this, that, and then by the end of it, we're like, okay, we completely understand the topic now. So I think that works for us. It might not for everyone, but yeah, I think that's helped a lot in us being able to like feel comfortable in what we know, and then not like going into that like downward spiral of like, am I like good enough to be in medical school, and like, is everyone else better than me, those things. So I think
And would you say it took you guys long to figure out your like the perfect study pattern for the two of you?
I think the first year was difficult. It was difficult, yeah. Also because I had just come to Malaysia. The culture is different, people are different.
I think like, that was it as well. We're both international students, so it was like adjusting to everything
all at once. You don't know the people that you knew for like your entire life. You don't have friends anymore. You're making new friends, so it's like you're making and learning so many different things. Medical school apart, just existing as an international student in a different country, building your life up from scratch is like a whole different experience. So I think it was really hard that first year, and especially being thrown to medical school. It's already hard. There's so so many things that they're constantly just shoving down. Like, you learn this anatomy, learn this physiology, learn this pathology, and then microbiology, and it's like, oh my god, I can't, like, I can't even think straight. And then it's like a lot all at once. But I think once that storm calmed down and we're like, okay, actually, like, now I have my set of friends, I know like what works, I know my classmates well, I know my doctors, I'm familiar with them, the concepts seem like, okay, things are making sense. I think by second year, I think things started making sense and it wasn't as difficult.
And I think once we entered clinicals, it just got better because I feel
thank God. I was worried about that.
Because for me, I like more like learning, like visualizing it, seeing it, how it's done, like practical knowledge, rather than just reading it on a book and then being like, okay, I just have to memorize this. So I think once we're in clinicals, it's more of focused learning and self-learning as well. So you kind of decide what you're gonna learn and what you're gonna like learn that day. And yeah, like it's very focused. It's not like, I don't think I've had a moment of, oh, why are we learning this in clinicals compared to in preclinicals, where a lot of the times I was like, do we really need to know this right now, kind of thing, which I'm sure somewhere along the way you need it, but like, to be completely fair, I don't remember it now.
Yeah, even by the time you need it, you'll have to learn it again.
Exactly. So I feel like in clinicals, everything's so practical that it just sticks. So yeah.
And you're following a patient from the history, examination, and then doing the like planning for the investigations and management. Like, you are following a patient right from the moment they enter like emergency department till when they get discharged. So I think it's a very practical way of learning. It's like, this is how you're going to be facing situations in the hospital. Whereas in preclinicals, you're like, okay, you have one lecture on pharmacology, then one lecture on microbiology,
on completely different
things,
topics.
and you're just like, okay, this here, just bunch of names that don't really make sense, and then anatomy, learning about something, and then you're moving right into pathology, and you're just like, okay, what is happening here? Like, nothing has, like, it's all important information, but it's not all like put in a way that you can like, okay, follow it, you know. So I think in clinicals it's nice like that, like
it's like applied knowledge, and
you feel like a doctor once you enter clinicals. You think like a doctor. I feel like, you know, you're thinking about like, oh, from like the first chief complaint they give you to figuring out up until management for that patient is like very, very interesting, I think.
Okay. You know, fun fact, when I joined medicine, I was never like a high achiever. Even when I applied for medicine, it was more of a gag. I was just like, I've got nothing better to apply. And then I got the acceptance letter and I was like, what? Me? I even had to write them an email, guys. Double check, please. I don't want to come there and like, who the hell are you? Okay, so what is a huge mistake you think students make when they come to these seminars or workshops?
I think we kind of like touched base on like not like being too scared to speak up, or like not interacting with what is being not taught, but like what is being introduced to them in that seminar. So I think that might be it, or just like not showing up, like like you sign up for it and then you're just like, never mind.
I've done that twice.
I mean, we've done it as well. We've all done
Yeah.
it, but it's like later on I'll hear from people that did go, that like, oh, this was such a good event, and then I'm
that
like,
happened to me twice.
Why didn't we go? So it's like, maybe like those things. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the things that we mentioned before, like, just a lot of people are like scared to like, oh, like be the first person to like volunteer to do something in the workshop or something. But I think being the first person to do it and make the mistakes is very valuable, because now you'll never forget that. I think a lot of people are scared, especially when you're in a workshop with a bunch of seniors or people that you're not really like familiar with. You're like, okay, I can't like mess it up right now. They don't even know me and they're gonna like I'm gonna do something stupid. But I think going into workshops with that like mindset really limits you. So just like do it, have a good experience. At least you'll come out knowing that you learned something.
Okay. And if students wanted to keep up with future events, where would they go?
For us, they can check it out at our Instagram page, the Tumedsociety, and then we
Is
also
it open to students outside of IMU as well? I mean, outside of Taylor's?
Yeah, because we do have the workshops, events. Most of the events, we only have very specific events that are only for Taylor's medical students. Other than that, most of our workshops and seminars are open for all. So yeah, they can check it out there, and then I don't know. If you have friends at Taylor's, maybe you can ask them if they have any events happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's next for the two of you now?
What's next?
What's next? We're ending our year 4 now, so we are going to be studying for those exams. So that is the academic side of it. Society stuff, I think for this month, every weekend we have an event. So this coming weekend, which is like tomorrow, basically 4th and 5th July, and 11th and 12th July, we have an exchange program under AMSA, the AMSAP event. And we're doing it in collaboration with Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a virtual exchange program, so it's not we're not going there or anything, we're just doing it virtually. But I think that is the first event for this month, and then after that we're planning our annual sports event, and then that's going to be also over 2 weekends. So we're trying to see what else we can fit in right before our exams start. So yeah,
hopefully a hands-on workshop.
Yeah, we're planning to do a workshop as well, and hopefully all the basically I hope everything gets figured out by then, because there's a lot of back and forth, like, oh, what are we doing, like paperwork, like, okay, what actually is feasible for us to do and stuff. So there's a lot of back and forth before an event actually even begins to the proposal part. So I think we're still in the in the works of like, okay, what do we want to do and what is actually practical for us to do. So hopefully we can get it done in August as well. I think that'll be fun, because we haven't after like starting our term, we haven't had like a hands-on workshop. We've just had the chest X-ray interpretation workshop, and then also the methodology masterclass. So we want to do a hands-on workshop before our exams. I think that would be, yeah, that is it, I think, for us.
Sounds very exciting. Thank you guys so much for coming, and best of luck for your exams and everything else you do on from now here. It's been an honor to have you guys. Thank you.
It was
Okay.
nice.
Sorry for keeping you fun, man. Thank you for staying.
I'm glad I stayed.
We really like that.